and welcome to episode 169 of the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast. Woo! Today we have me, Taco.
Jason with Concealment Solutions.
Al Nelson, NOE bullet molds.
Yeah, in the NOE studio.
All right.
Nice. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right in to sponsors. Yes.
Well, let's start with NOE bullet molds. Al, what's the latest?
What's the latest and greatest?
Boy, we're just struggling along like everybody else, making molds and smiling. A lot of things going on. I'm going to say we've got all kinds of layoffs and neat things taking place, but hey, we're making through them. We're making through them.
How is the revolver optic plate?
The red dot for the
You've got a few of them
fixed
sitting
sight
over
revolvers. There. You bet. We're just about ready to release it. I've got parts in getting anodized right now.
Okay.
Finally had enough time to shoot it and feel comfortable with what we're doing. I think I'm gonna have a good little sight there. I definitely am gonna put it on my carry gun.
Cool.
And you've designed it to work on. You've installed it on the Charter Arms.
We've got Charter Arms, Smith & Wesson, Rossi's, anything in kind of the K-frame size with fixed sights. Something that's never been drilled before, so you get the opportunity to drill a hole in a gun.
Yay! Everybody just cringed.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing.
And I think we've taken the scare factor out of it pretty good.
Good.
We've got a little fixture that comes with the kit. You get the right size drill bit and the right size tap to do everything with.
Yeah.
So the kit comes with the drill and tap.
The drill and the tap.
Drill bit and tap.
Or take it to your favorite gunsmith.
There you go.
It'll be a breeze for a gunsmith.
You bet. The last one I did took me about 5.5 minutes to do the whole thing.
Wow,
that's pretty fast.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah,
if you do another one, let me know. I'll come by and we can record it.
There you
and we
go.
can make a little instructional video for the people who are not keen on reading. Reading and looking at pictures. They want someone to walk them through it with a...
We've got a pretty good instruction sheet. We spent probably more time on the instruction sheet than we did on the product, but that's usually how it works.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be exciting. It'll be fun. Not a big demand item, but hey,
you might be surprised.
It sure.
I think so too.
There's a lot of people, a lot of revolver people out there, and there's a lot of them that are shooting competition with them, even if it's just, even if they're not competitive, it's kind of what they do. I don't know how that's going to play into the politics and gaming of putting an optic on a revolver, but... Yeah.
I did notice that both Rossi and Charter Arms now have come out with a red dot optics on theirs.
Oh, really?
I think Rossi they've had one for a while, but I see now that Charter Arms has one.
Huh.
And then Smith & Wesson is...
Is it a specific gun model that is milled to accept...
I think they made... I think they both are pretty much the same situation that we've got. You put an adapter plate on it and then put a red dot on it.
Okay.
I think Charter Arms uses Picatinny, which raises the sight up, and that I didn't want that.
Yeah.
I needed something low and
low,
nice, sleek, so I can carry it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
that makes sense.
Yeah, the whole idea for me was to get rid of the
fixed sights.
The fixed sights and the glasses.
Yeah. So there's I guess there's two different and maybe more use cases for that. One, those darn fixed sights, if they're off.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes they
don't print where you shoot.
They don't. Yeah.
Yep.
So that would make your. And I sold a revolver that I really liked because of that, because it shot off of where the fixed sights were.
Right. And I've heard people taking a pair of pliers and tweaking it and stuff like that, but
I've also seen revolvers with broken off sights.
Yes. Yes.
So if it's off too far and you start bending it a little too far, then I don't know. But then also like the eyes, failing eyes. And, if it's harder to see those, and some of those sights are just crappy, right? They're just a grooved rear sight.
Rear sight,
with the blade.
Just there's non-existent really on a frame gun like that. It's just
So and then I guess you could use it for maybe competition. I don't know.
Yeah.
And self-defense. So there's multiple reasons that it would make sense to get that.
Yeah.
And then, once you modify that revolver, you might need to talk to Jason and see if you can get a...
we're going to need a new saddle for it.
What needs to change to make
the holster.
Yeah, that's coming.
What are those going to retail for?
It's still a little bit in the air, but I'm trying to keep it under $100.
Okay.
That's kind of my price point is under 100, and
sounds reasonable.
That's for the drill fixture and the first plate or adapter.
That's actually a really good deal, I think. That's not to come with everything and.
Well, I think the instruction sheets are worth that much. Yeah. All the time I put in.
All the time it took you to write it up. Yeah. So the other thing I was going to say that is new at NOE is there's a new mold, and we talked about this design a while ago. It's been kind of a long time in the making, but it is the HTC 502-300-TC. And what this one is it's a truncated cone nose pour mole with base pins. And with the base pins, it comes with a hollow base that you can, with the hollow base, then it will cast out about a 300 grain bullet, and then you have a flat base that will do 350, and then another flat base that will do 400, and then another one that will do 500. So it is a very, I would say, very unique and very utilitarian mold. And I got a hold of one of the first cuts or prototypes. I don't know, it was a few weeks ago, a month ago.
Yeah, it's been about a month now.
And I was able to cast them up. I only had available the hollow base pin, and so I cast up a bunch, and just using kind of like my regular, I don't know, it's about wheel weight alloy. And I did some powder, and this one is grooveless, so you got to powder coat or high tech or something. But case full of Trail Boss. I was taking a group shooting. And so I didn't get to whip out the chronograph, and I didn't get to record myself shooting very much. But I hope to have a video on that mold soon. But it was funny because there was one of the guys who was really hesitant about shooting the 500 Magnum. He's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I said, oh, hold on. I've got these pink old man loads. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, watch this. And I shot and, Trail Boss. I mean, it's still throwing a 300 grain bullet at.
Sure.
My guesstimate would be probably like somewhere 800 to 900 feet per second.
Right.
And so, it still thumps down range, but is really easy on the wrists. And so I shot, and then he's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll. And this guy's from New Zealand, and so.
Yeah.
Anyways, he shot it, and he's like, this isn't really that bad,
Yeah.
And so. I'm going to have a video on my old man load for the arthritic wrist, or the guy who bought the big bore who
buyer's remorse,
who still wants to retain his pride and keep it, but needs a little bit less recoil on the wrist. But anyways, it shot really well. I was hitting silhouettes out to like 100 yards, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised myself.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, so just
very cool.
Keep an eye out for that video coming out on my channel. But the molds are for sale at NOE right now. And if you use coupon code FLT001, it'll save you 10%, I think. But really cool. I've not seen a truncated cone-shaped 50 Smith & Wesson or 50 Beowulf or etc. Bullet mold before. And so all of them have been like kind of round flat. So excited to use this one, and I'm going to try and maybe test some of them in my 500 SOCOM, and I got lots of stuff to play around with this.
Right.
So maybe this winter, since I don't have to mow the lawn or anything like that, I'll have more time to cast and
had a couple of good calls from guys that are shooting 500 Texans air rifles.
Oh.
that are really interested in that hollow base, that little 300 grain.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about that too.
their
If
rifle.
some of those hollow base,
I'd sure like to get a hold of a 50 caliber Texan and try
then
them
throw that
myself.
in there.
Yeah.
well, that's high on my list of next guns to buy.
There
But
you go.
I'm thinking 45.
Yeah.
45
Well-
or 357.
The other thing was, for those of you who didn't know, Al made basically a series of these type of molds where you can cast 4 different bullet weights. And I believe they're in 357, 9 mil, now 50 cal, 44, and 458.
I think it was 450.
And I think the
Yep.
45 one only does 2.
2, I think.
Yeah.
I think that was the original one. Or
That was
close
the
to
original one that
It was for the long
40,
Colt.
45 Colt, yeah.
It was kind of a-
but that one looks like it would be a really good one for an air gun.
You could slug.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. It's short. It's got the hollow base. That one looks good for an air gun
Yeah.
projectile.
I think any of them should
Yeah.
be quite acceptable in air rifles in this
Cool.
day and age.
Yeah. Cool.
And speaking of air guns,
Utah Air Guns at utahairguns.com. They've got all kinds of neat stuff.
yeah, I went in there and I took a look at the fancy, shiny new, what was that called? The new FX
Oh,
one that looks like the
the bench rest target.
No, it's more like a hunting style, like the Crown.
Oh,
Is it the
is it the Royal or something
King?
like that?
The King? I forget what it's called.
I've
It's
seen
got
it
some name like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like that's the
It's basically more
Replacing
power,
the Crown
more fancy
type of
stuff
thing.
for people who like the Crown style with the traditional stock instead of a bullpup.
okay.
And so that one, it wasn't as heavy as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. So
How many did you buy?
I 0. I'm broke right now.
Oh, that's
So-
disappointing.
Anyways,
That's cool.
but use coupon code AirCandy and it'll
You get
give
free
you free
shipping and free turret stickers.
turret stickers.
So, yeah.
What's new at Concealment Solutions?
Oh man, there's all kinds of new stuff at Concealment Solutions. If you're still thinking about getting somebody a one of the BPS knives for a Christmas gift, you better do it soon. I have people that are buying them in quantity.
Oh, boy.
I've been telling some
Like-
friends they need to stop by
Yeah.
and take a look because
So I'm almost out of a couple more. We're doing a pre-sale on the bush axe because I only ordered 4 with this last order, and before I could even get pictures and put them on the website, they were all
All
gone.
gone. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So pre-selling on those, you save $5 if you pre-order it, and should have those in ready to ship out by the end of January is my hope.
I just whipped out mine.
Yeah.
Jason brought it over. So.
Yeah, but anyway, BPS knives are super cool, come with a custom sheath. But most exciting thing is, I've been talking about moving my shop and getting a little bit bigger place. I have worked things out with my current landlord to where I'm gaining a little bit of space. It's not a lot. So it'll be a showroom off of the shop that I'm getting ready to get all set up, and it'll be kind of cool. Come in and you can see more stuff on display. For those of you who've come to the shop looking for something, you know, they'll say, well, can I see one of these? Yeah, well, I get an order and I build it and I ship it. So that'll change. We'll have more product in stock, and at least stuff that you can look at and handle and stuff like that. And hopefully I'll have some cool displays that will make it worth your while to come down. So that is hopefully going to be in place sometime in January.
All right.
Yeah, just got a new shipment of belts in. So if you're wanting one of the new EDC2 belts, I have got everything in stock. So
I was telling my friend's dad because he was showing me like he just bought a new 1911 and he was thinking
Nice.
about getting a holster made for it. And
Uh-huh.
I told him, I said, hey, you need to get a new belt because he has one of the little skinny leather ones
gosh.
that's all stretched. And,
Yeah.
you know, kind of
He's had
bows
it
up and
since
down.
he was 12.
I probably.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, check this one out. And I was just like, click it, unclick it, click
Yeah.
it. It's like, yeah. And then it has that stiffener in
Stiffener
it
in it.
so that it, it doesn't just bend down or
Right.
bow.
And the
where the
new
weight
ones, the webbing is a little bit thicker, a little stiffer, And so they're about 25% stiffer than the original EDC.
I might need to try one of those out.
If you carry, especially if you carry something like a 1911 or a big revolver or a SIG or something like that, steel frame gun, CZ, it makes a huge
Well,
difference.
even so, the dagger is the Glock 19 size,
Right.
And so I usually carry my little 357, pocket carry
Right.
or the dagger, and the dagger has a little bit more heft to it. So having that nicer belt actually does make a difference.
It does. It absolutely does. Anyway, go check all that stuff out at concealmentsolutions.com. You can use the code Show Me the Candy. You'll save 15%.
All right.
Magholder.com. He's got all kinds of stuff that he's doing now. I haven't even tried.
But primarily
horizontal mag carriers.
Yes. So if you're looking for a mag carrier for concealed carry to carry that extra.
For everyday carrying your mag horizontally is just way more comfortable.
Yeah, instead of vertically. It's easy to hide, easy to.
Yep. And it's a much
easy to
faster
grab.
draw than you would imagine.
Yeah.
So it takes a little time, a little practice with the new one. But anyway, go check them out at magholder.com. Use the code Get in the Van. I have candy, and I think it's
20-something
or
percent.
20 or they just send you free stuff. I don't know.
We need to get Ricky on here again sometime.
I know he's been going nuts with stuff.
Yeah, and we can't forget our buddy down south.
Oh yeah, Black Ice Coatings.
Black Ice Coatings.
BlackIceCoatings.com.
He does excellent work on gun finishes, gun coatings, and occasionally he'll coat something for you that is not gun related, like a climbing helmet.
Or a mountain bike.
Or a mountain bike. Did you ever see Jason's mountain bike? Yeah,
I did.
it's crazy.
He's done 2 for me now.
Oh man,
I haven't
that's
seen the
awesome.
second one, but I did see the first one.
The second one is flat black with. I couldn't get away from the sugar skulls.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah,
A nice
sugar
look.
skulls.
it looks
But
cool.
the skulls are kind of a gold, but the skulls are all made up of paisleys, so they're all these intricate
wow.
lacy.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anything paisley.
Yeah.
Brings the hippie out in me.
Oh yeah, I grew up in Northern California, so there's very much
a lot of
the
paisley.
hippie in me. But anyway, Black Ice Coatings, Teflon coating, awesome stuff. Go check them out. Follow them on social media, and if you need something, give them a call and tell them you want it slickery.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I'm thinking about getting my little brake action CVA coated. Because that one's blued, and so it just doesn't handle the rain as quite as good as the stainless steel, and so I want to get that coated. Probably some Teflon, and then dip the plastic stock. Yeah. So if our listeners have a good idea for the colors and or hydro dipping combination, just remember and keep in mind this is the bunny fart launcher. So the subsonic 135 grain 300 blackout.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my most fired rifles that I own.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So give us your feedback on what Taco should make his gun look like.
Yeah, maybe some. I doubt that there's a hydro dip with a bunny that's farting.
But there could be.
But there could be.
knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe if someone draws up a design and one of those
Sends it to,
the filmmakers or something, the hydro film.
and Al will have to buy 6 miles of film to make it worth their while to print it.
Yeah, something like that. So.
All right, should we get into listener feedback?
Yeah, we have quite a few since it's been a while,
Yeah.
and there were. If we don't read yours this time, I'm sorry.
It's because we don't care.
It's because Jason doesn't care.
I don't even get to look at the listener feedback. I just see what you bring.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, this first one is from Kevin C. And he says, just found the November 22 podcast. Really good advice on taking people to the range.
Oh.
So, thanks. And then the next one is a long one, so we might have to paraphrase some of it. This one is from Dave in Utah.
Oh.
And he says, hey there, dudes. In a recent episode, Taco mentioned a situation where a friend of his niece had someone hiding behind her car at night.
Yeah.
And this was assumed bad intentions.
Right.
And that would have been
That was a scary
really
story.
scary thing. And so he says, I'm sure you had all the good firearm recommendations because you are all very smart. I had some additional
Is he
thoughts.
listening to the right podcast?
Yeah. He says, your niece's friend was fortunate to have someone who accompanied her to her car and scared off the kidnapper, but that may not always be the case. It would be a very good idea to talk about flashlights because in a situation where she might be alone, a flashlight would be a very useful tool.
True.
That is a very good idea.
Yeah.
That's in those tactical flashlights. They're really small. They could fit in a purse or a pocket.
Yeah.
And they're very, very bright.
Uh-huh.
So, if you're the last one to lock up.
Bad guys don't like to be lit
Yeah,
up.
you can always shine that flashlight and, shine around your car, whatever, before getting too close. So that is a really good idea. And he says, basically what we just said, if someone is hiding at night using darkness as their major source of surprise, having all that darkness suddenly taken away might help them reconsider their life choices. And he says one of the ones that he has is a Surefire EDCL-2T. He's had it for a few years. It can put out 1,200 lumens.
Wow.
And he says it's adequate for lighting up his car across the parking lot. And let's see, he says some more stuff. We're abbreviating. And he says he recommends checking out the Streamlight ProTac 2.0, the Streamlight ProTac 2LX, Surefire G2 Pro, Surefire EDCL1T or EDCL2T, and that those would be great Christmas present recommendations.
Great
Interesting.
Stocking. Yeah, stocking.
We're going to
Yes.
talk about that a little bit later.
Okay, the next one's from Zach A. And he says, hello, Zach A. from Montana. I ordered a holster from Jason for my new SA-35, which is a Browning high-power clone. I think that's the Springfield Armory clone. And I am very impressed with the holster. The turnaround time was exceptional for a custom holster maker. I received the holster, and other than the retention being a little too snug, which was understandable as the SA-35S's trigger guard has sharp edges, that could have been polished off by the factory, so it transitioned into the holster somewhat stiff. Easily fixed with a heat gun in a few seconds to make retention slightly less.
Yeah. Anytime you have I won't say steel frame, but a metal frame gun, whether it's aluminum or steel or whatever, you can have that issue. SIG sometimes their trigger guards will be they won't be rounded over.
They don't have a nice bevel or like a radius on it.
And sometimes, you can have some fitment issues like that. And it's funny because my rubber guns, they're all nice and smooth.
The blue guns. Yeah. So, and then he continues, says, all in all, I was extremely surprised how comfortable and concealable it made this full-size, high-power clone. It was my biggest and most uncomfortable gun to conceal, and now has become one of my most comfortable. I was curious if Jason plans on adding the PSA dagger to his holster options, as he has a repeat customer out of me. Great podcast, by the way.
Dagger's already on the website.
So the dagger's on the website, and there's...
And to avoid any confusion, like I was confused when I was buying my dagger, the compact versus the full size, the only difference is the grip length. The barrel and slides are exactly the same.
Same holster.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Same holster. So makes my job easier, but I don't know why they call it. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't have a 17-inch or a 17 size slide on the full size. That's what I thought I was ordering when I bought mine.
All right. The next one is from our flexible friend, Bandy. And he says, a few months ago, I was getting gas just watching everyone around when I noticed a car pull into the coffee shop next door. The coffee shop had just closed for the day and the last employee was cleaning up. The car that pulled up went into the parking lot and took a spot next to the employee's car. It just seemed out of place as the car looked a little bit run down, had a very dark tint on the windows, while the employee's car looked newer and well cared for. When I finished getting my fuel, I pulled up to the drive-through window of the coffee shop and got the young lady's attention. She came to the window, and I told her what I had seen. She had seen it too and had already called her dad. I offered to pull into a spot at the gas station just to watch for her until her dad arrived. She said she would appreciate that. I pulled up within sight of the whole thing and just looked over my phone as I watched. About 10 minutes later, another car pulled up next to the creeper's car. Immediately, the car that had been watching pulled away in a hurry. The lady inside watched as the man, I assumed was her dad, got out and walked over to the building. She waved at me, and I took it as my signal to go. I don't know if anything was really going to happen, but I hope that someday when my daughters are in the world that someone will be willing to step in if they need. I also hope they learn to pay attention to things and to trust their gut when something seems out of place. Glad you guys are getting back to the studio. Hey Taco, I have been thinking about getting a new rifle and get into them slow as my budget is limited. I have been eyeing a Howa mini action in 6-arc with the intent to load it with the Hornady bolt gun data and make it a lightweight hunting rifle. Have you played with the 6-arc yet, and have you had good experiences with Howa rifles? I would like to find a factory 6-arc, but I am willing to put a barrel on an action if needed, if that is needed or better. Sincerely, your flexible friend, Bendy. Bendy.
He's finally caved.
Yeah, he has caved.
He's accepted his
So
nickname.
I would say,
Well, that was cool to be watching out for somebody else.
It's always good to...
I almost would have just pulled right behind the guy.
Oh, yeah?
So he couldn't leave.
Obvious. Real obvious.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you don't want
Don't you?
to...
More of us ought to.
Yeah.
Because he's just going to go try something with somebody else that isn't going to be so aware.
Something that he'd remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or at least maybe
Think twice.
pull in behind him and grab a snapshot of his license plate.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, call that into the police and say, hey, this guy is acting a little suspicious.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
So as far as the Howa 1500 rifles, the mini actions, my experience has been that they shoot really well. They are well put together, well made. Their magazines absolutely suck. And so the magazine is the weak point.
Is there a better option that you can get for him?
I would say there currently is, but it's expensive. So it may be worth it to him, and it may not.
Yeah. If he's trying to do something on a budget, that
so
might be
that's
a deal
he
breaker.
needs to consider all that. If he's going with like a traditional stock, like something from who's the guys who make the wood stocks? Boyd's. Yeah. So if he's going with something like that, maybe it'll work pretty good. If he's going with like a chassis, I have done a couple builds with those mini actions and the 6.5 Grendel, the 6-arc, and a 22 or 224 Grendel. I guess now Hornady has the 22 arc. Anyways, the problem I'd have is with the MDT chassis and the factory mag, the magazine front would sit a little too low, and so some of the bullets they kind of nosedive, and so certain shapes and lengths would be worse than others, and it was a really big frustration. And I had one in the 223 or 300 blackout, and that one. Anyways, I found out that MDT makes these magazines, and I bought one during Black Friday. One for 223 that I'm using in the 300 blackout, and it actually fixes the issue.
Oh.
And so it's a
much
machined
was the magazine?
aluminum upper part of the magazine with an extension on the bottom
Well,
that's
that
polymer.
explains the expense.
That's why it's expensive, but they're very well made, but they cost like over $100.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
you have to take a look at the
When you said
complete
expensive,
package.
I was thinking 70 or 80 bucks.
Yeah, so Black Friday they were on sale, and I got them quite a bit less. But I had these nice rifles, and
Yeah.
I had one that I guess two of them were custom built. A 6-arc barrel before they made those.
Right.
Right now, Savage has a pretty decent 6-arc rifle. I think it's called the Switchback.
Savage is pretty
And-
good price point, too,
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
But if you can get those Howa actions cheap, they are really a good bang for the dollar.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to throw that out there as, pros and cons.
Right.
Be aware of that could be an issue. MDT also makes bottom metal for those. And so you can use magazines if you get one that doesn't have, if you get a stock that doesn't have the bottom metal. So.
And then he asked you what you think of the 6-arc.
In general, I think it's a really cool cartridge, and in a bolt action, it steps it up a whole nother level. So it's almost like another cartridge. It's like comparing a 357 in a revolver versus a lever action.
Okay.
Yeah, you gain quite a bit of velocity
That makes sense.
because you can load the ammo to the higher pressures. So the ARs, you have to load them down, and then the bolt actions, you can load them up full pressure. So
Cool.
that's where you get the increased performance. As a side note, my friend Kenny from YouTube buddy Kenny,
Eagle Eye
shooting channel, he was competing in some, I think it was PRS matches or something, and he was using some a bolt action 6-arc, but he was using 6.5 Grendel brass that he just necked down, and he was it has such little recoil, but he was getting enough velocity with that cartridge that he was doing quite well with that. And people were like, "How what
What's
cartridge?
going on
How are
here?"
you doing this with 6.5 Grendel? Because 6.5 Grendel you can't get the same velocities. Anyways, so I think it's a great cartridge, and it would be well worth taking a look at it. But I would look at how much like maybe a Savage costs, and then read reviews, but then also take a look at the how with if you get the action, how much a stock or a chassis, and then if you need the magazine, how much that would cost, and consider all of that total. Okay, the next one is from Nate in Oregon, and he says, after listening to Taco go on and on about air guns, I picked up a refurbished 177 Avenger bullpup. In April. I was blown away by how easy it shot tiny groups, the amount of shots per fill, and the overall awesomeness of it. The cheap Amazon compressor cost about as much as the bullpup, but makes filling easy. Whacked a lot of ground squirrels on my 5 acres this spring.
Nice.
That's good. Just picked up another Avenger in 25 cal, the rifle version, and will have it sighted in by Christmas. They are light years ahead of the Benjamin air rifle I spent a whole summer mowing lawns to buy as a kid in the mid-90s. Probably the same equivalent dollar amount, but repeat, and don't have a pump for follow-up shots.
So I'm curious, he said he bought an air compressor. I'm curious, what air compressor did you get, and how long does it take to fill the gun? Because we've had that question, because we haven't played with those before, to know whether they're worth getting or not.
Part of that depends on if you're filling up the capacity of the tank on your gun.
Sure.
Right? So if you have one of those air cylinders like the Avengers,
right.
I'm sure that'll fill up a lot faster than if you have like a bottle.
Sure it will.
A scuba tank could take a...
Yeah.
The scuba tank takes half a second on like my Benjamin Marauder.
Yeah, just whoosh. But
in fact, you have to be careful.
and a lot of,
you can't open it all the way.
Yeah. But I was going to say a lot of those smaller pumps cannot fill up the scuba tanks.
I don't
They'll
think
burn
any
out.
of them will fill up with one of the tanks. But,
So
Full capacity.
yeah.
Right.
So you got to be careful about
but anyway,
that.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Write back and tell us
And then
what your experience with the air compressor, how long it takes to fill your gun.
so that's your homework,
Yeah.
Zach A. And then he continues and he says, keep up the good work and spread the news on how incredible they are for the money. A powder burner with this accuracy would cost so much more up front and in ammo. Taco, I am wanting to build a break action 38 special or 300 blackout for a bunny fart gun. I cowboy shoot, so I have hoarded Trail Boss and am set up to cast bullets. As an avid reloader, this seems like a fun project. What suppressor should I look for? It will be my first one. Feel free to answer on a future podcast. So when you're dealing with those bunny farts, the 130 grain or 135 grain NOE coated cast bullets, then man, you could almost use any 30 cal suppressor, and it's going to sound good.
Yeah.
As far as we might have to
So what,
talk about that in a future episode.
just pick two. Pick one that's like, if you could get anything you wanted, this is the one you'd want, and then pick one that's maybe a budget-friendly one.
Okay, so one of the 3D printed titanium suppressors, either from like CGS or maybe one of the new ones from Huxworks.
Okay.
And the Huxworks one is a flow-through, so that would be really nice for if you're shooting it on an AR platform, gas gun, like a semi-auto.
Uh-huh.
That would be the advantage of that Huxworks one.
Right.
If you're trying to save, both of those are really expensive, like $1,000 or something.
Right.
So if you want to go with something cheaper, probably, anything from Silencer Co. or Dead Air. Those are both reputable companies, and they're both in Utah, so I like to
Keep it local.
keep it local.
That's
Nice.
good. That's good.
If you're looking for something that's a little bit more universal, then take a look at one of the, maybe like the Liberty Mystic X, where you could use, it's a 9mm suppressor, but you can use it on, some of the rifles too. It's rated for some of the rifle cartridges.
Okay.
It won't sound quite as quiet, but it'll give you a little bit more versatility. So those are some quick ones. And then I have a friend who bought the Odin suppressor. It's like super cheap. Don't buy it thinking that it's going to suppress as well as some of these other ones that are larger, have more baffles, have more space, volume inside.
Right.
But that one, I have it in 223, and I put it temporarily on my Ruger Predator in 223, and it has not been removed.
Yeah?
Yeah, it sounds good enough on the bolt action,
Okay.
and
It works.
everybody likes it, and
Yeah.
you can shoot it without hearing protection. So that's something
Why
to
not?
consider.
Yeah.
Is they make one in 30 cal also.
Okay.
So if you're trying to really scrimp and save, then
And what do
take a look
those
at
go
that.
for?
I don't know,
Oh,
probably
yes.
like 300-400,
Okay.
something like that. So,
All right.
anyways,
Good
Yep.
enough.
all right, and that is it for listener feedback.
So let's jump into a news story. I almost should have brought my glasses. It's printed kind of small. Okay. Charges have been filed against a woman who was Heather Denise Wright, 32, is charged with 3 counts of first-degree robbery and 3 counts of criminal use of defensive spray. The holdup attempt happened Wednesday at Jeff Dennis Jewelers in Gardendale. Wright, who lives in Nauvoo, remains hospitalized. Once released, she will be booked into the Jefferson County Jail with a $90,000 bond. She has a lengthy criminal history. The robbery happened just before 5 p.m. Wednesday at the store on Fieldstown Road. Dennis said Wright walked in through the front door wearing a face covering that looked like a COVID mask and a coat and carrying a purse. I looked at some of the still pictures from the security camera, and she's just very casual walking in. I am always a little bit alert, he said. Even though we're past COVID, there was still a lot of people wearing masks. The first thing she did was bend down and put a block in the door so it would stay open. I knew then what was happening, Dennis said, so I drew my weapon. Wright said, "Happy holidays. I don't want to hurt y'all, but I am." She then immediately started spraying bear spray at the employees.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Bear spray is a powerful aerosol spray meant to be used to ward off grizzlies and black bears.
It's like pepper spray, but amplified for
Right.
a bear.
And it shoots a much further distance in a bigger
geez.
cloud. I stepped around the corner and fired at her pretty good, Dennis said. I hit her in the shoulder. It was a significant injury. I didn't have any choice once she started spraying the bear spray because I knew what was going to come next, he said. I was in fight or flight mode and I was trying to get the store secured because I didn't know if she had other people with her. The woman screamed, "Stop, stop, I don't want to die, please stop." You should have thought about that sooner. She dropped her purse and fled. A massive search was immediately launched with Jefferson County's Star One helicopter providing air support and drones and tracking dogs on the ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where is this
Get
at?
her.
I can't remember the state. It just says Gardendale.
Oh, okay.
Agencies assisting Gardendale police, including the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office, Birmingham Police, Kimberly Police, and Fultondale Police. It sounds like maybe Alabama. Gardendale Police Chief Scott Banks said the woman was taken into custody within a couple of hours at a Birmingham apartment complex. She was then taken to the hospital where she is undergoing treatment for her injuries. It wasn't immediately clear how police found the suspect in Birmingham. I did what I had to do to protect my store and my employees, said Jeff Dennis, owner of Jeff Dennis Jewelry in Gardendale. I had no idea what she was capable of. Very good point. The store reopened today after being closed Thursday for cleanup from the toxic bear spray.
Oh.
Dennis said this is the first actual robbery at the store. I don't know how long he's been open, but that's pretty good being a jewelry store, not having a whole lot of robberies, or at least attempts. Some poor choices by somebody made me do something I hoped I'd never have to do, he said. I hate it, Dennis said. I lost a lot of sleep last night and I had the shakes for several hours. It's been an emotional thing, he said. I'm glad she didn't die. I hope she can turn her life around. I hope I'm never faced with that again. But I have no doubt I would do the same thing again if I was faced with it 100 more times.
Well, good on him.
So, yeah, bear spray. Here's the thing. Bear spray, she was just wearing one of those little paper...
Yeah. Yeah. The COVID masks or whatever.
But not like the nice molded form-fitting ones. It was just like one of the cheapest hospital masks you can imagine that you just hook on over your ears and it just kind of covers your nose and your mouth and the sides are open. Yeah. That bear spray was going to affect her almost as much as the people she was spraying it at. But anyway, I thought that one was kind of interesting, and the guy reacted. I mean, he had his pistol out before she started spraying, and as soon as he realized what she was doing,
with locking the door
shot
open.
her.
And,
Kudos to him.
Yeah.
Condition yellow.
It's
Being
gotta be
aware.
there.
yeah.
Yep.
The other thing too is, when he said you just don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times you have these like armchair quarterbacks saying, "Oh, well, you didn't need a shooter. You could have, this or that."
Just tackled her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't know if she's using bear spray to like.
Subdue you and then slit your throat.
She's using bear spray to knock you down, and then she shoots you or slits your throat or whatever.
Or she's got other people in the parking lot that are coming in afterwards, and yeah.
Yeah. So that's good on him for protecting.
Yep.
Himself, his shop, and
his
employees.
Yeah. Okay, should we move into our topic?
Yes, let's.
Okay, our topic today is going to be based on gift ideas for the gun enthusiast in your life. And I kind of made my list. I put them in categories by dollar amount. So I've got like under $50, I've got under 100, under 200, and then over 200.
All right. Let's start with stocking stuffers.
Okay, so under $50.
Or something that can fit in a stocking.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Gun can fit in a stocking.
That'd be awesome. You open, or you're reaching in your stocking, and there's like a 1911 in there. You're like, yes! Cool. Yes! I love you, Santa!
You betcha.
Yeah.
Okay, under $50, or stocking stuffers if you want. I always have a flashlight on there. A decent flashlight like we read in our
like we just mentioned.
Yeah, good choice.
Easy. You can spend as little or as much as you want.
Yeah.
But you can get a decent small flashlight under $50 easy.
I'll throw out the two brands I like, and you can't go wrong with, is Surefire and Streamlight.
Yeah.
I feel like those two brands.
Both good, solid, good quality. More on the premium end as far as dollars go. I've had really good luck with Olight stuff.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more, it's not like it used to be. It used to be like super budget end, and it's not so much anymore, but I think their quality is also coming up.
Yeah.
But they make good stuff. And they have a ton of just weird, unique things also.
Choose from. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually can't remember which one I have one that I've had it forever.
Yeah.
Like forever. And it has two settings. It has bright and less bright.
Yeah.
Or bright and brighter.
And who is it? What brand is it?
I can't remember if it's a Streamlight or a Surefire.
So I have a little
But
tiny.
I've had both, and I really I love both. And
Yeah.
I have friends who have both, and yeah.
So I have a little tiny Olight that sits in the little cup compartment thing in my center console. That's kind of bright and then almost not on. Those are the two settings. But I think it was free when I bought a tack light or something. And it's nice for just like looking around, looking for stuff in your car at night or whatever. It's super tiny. It's convenient. It's about as big as my index finger, you know. And then in the glove box, I have a Streamlight that is much bigger. And I can't remember what model it is. It was like $120, so it wasn't cheap. But the cool thing about it, and every one of our cars has one in it, because it has a USB charging
Cool.
on it.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah.
you can just plug it into the USB in the car and charge it whenever you need to.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know how many lumens it is. It's probably close to 1,000 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that one. And it's got a couple settings. It's got like bright, super bright, and singe the skin off the zombies.
Melt your eyes.
Yeah.
Lightsaber.
All right. Okay, so on my list, I'm going to toss in two because they're
Yeah,
quickies.
sure.
So batteries. So batteries for optics. So for
Okay.
flashlights or red dots or whatever. Usually the coin batteries or just batteries, right? And then the other one is spray paint. That's always a favorite of mine.
Yep.
But that only is helpful if that gun enthusiast shoots steel.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I always go through spray paint, and I took the last group I took out shooting, or I guess one of the groups. Yeah, it was the last one. You know, he was like, "Hey, is there anything else I could do for you?" You know, because they shot like, I think it was like, what was it, $1,400 worth of ammo, and
This
like,
day and age isn't much.
oh, it was
plenty, though.
about 2/3 of a 5-gallon bucket full.
Cool.
You know, they
That's
shot
a lot of
everything,
bang.
everything from 22 all the way up to 50 BMG.
Nice.
But I said, hey, actually there is. If you want to just toss in a couple cans of spray paint, it helps me out.
Huh.
And so he bought me like 3 cans of like spray paint, and like my favorite colors are blue, red, and hot pink.
Hot pink.
Because hot pink actually works really good at distance.
Yeah.
So it's surprising how well the eye picks up hot pink
Blaze.
Sure.
when you have like a target out at like 500 yards or 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
You know, black kind of is really hard to see.
Kind of
and
blends in with the terrain.
Green is
Yep.
really bad.
Yeah, and browns.
And browns.
Browns,
Earth
yeah.
tones are bad.
Yellows can be tricky
But
too.
the other thing about it is how well they coat. Like
Yeah.
I have bad experience with orange colors because
No
Don't
coverage.
stick.
they don't coat very well. So you like have to spray it and then spray it and spray, you know.
Interesting.
And make sure you don't get the lawn paint for like it's like the yard sale
It's like
paint.
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
chalk-based paint.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
does not work. So get the kind with paint and primer together because it just coats thicker and better.
Yeah.
And then those 3 colors are my favorites. So,
Cool.
Al, what do you got
For a stocking stuffer,
Yeah.
boy, I have to go with a mold mallet.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
needs a mold mallet, at
Yeah.
least one. I had a gentleman order 4 of them just last week.
Yeah.
He was so enthralled with them.
They are great. Like
Yeah.
you know, if you cast bullets and you're still using like a little part of a 2x4 or like a screwdriver handle,
Somebody
or-
sawed off broom handle.
yeah, and you're getting a bunch of splintering, then it's time you pick up a mold mallet because it has a really good crack to it with that PVC coating on the outside.
Yeah.
And they last forever.
They do last forever, or at least very long
Very close
time.
to it.
Yeah.
Couple other things I have on my list in this price range. Gun cleaning stuff. whether it's a kit or just solvent or lube or
Stuff. Yeah.
brushes or Q-tips or whatever. They're always going to use that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was on my list.
And you could throw in a gun cleaning mat. I love using those kind of neoprene mats.
Yeah, spongy.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And they soak up the oil, and doesn't get your counter all gross or whatever. And if you have a particular gun that you disassemble a lot or whatever, you can get one that has the blow up of it.
Yeah, schematic.
The one that I use is
Cool.
for the AR. And I've had to like sit there and stare at that before and go, okay, okay, yeah, that's right.
That's funny.
Which way is the spring supposed to be pointing?
Yeah, I've got one of those too with the AR one.
Yeah.
I like it.
So what else?
Okay, so for me, I'm saying like tools.
Yeah.
So typical tools would be like, even if you get a cheap set of Allen wrenches, and because you could even go like Harbor Freight cheap on those and get the ones that are like the ball end.
Yeah,
those are kind of handy.
Are great.
Or the T handle. Just something that is, you don't have to go expensive, but something that you could throw in the range bag. Mm-hmm. And then besides the Allen wrenches, you could get like a cheap screwdriver set and also an AR armorer's wrench.
Yeah.
That's like always, man. I've helped people fix their guns so many times, like just because I had the right tools.
Right.
Had the tools.
And I've had shooters that are like over to the side, and they look all sheepish as they walk over, and they're like, "Hey, you look like you know what you're doing. Do you know how to fix this?" It's like, yeah, hang on. So,
nice.
Al, you got anything else?
Oh boy,
You're-
there's a multitude of things.
You're talking to me about something that people usually buy. Okay, the gift card.
Oh yeah.
NOE sells gift cards.
That would be a great stuffing stucker. Yeah. You betcha. Yeah, we've got a gift card that's available. This time of year, we usually sell quite a few of them, but yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you got a significant other that would appreciate any casting or reloading tools, the NOE, but you don't know what exactly.
Yeah. There you go.
Then that's it. That's a good option. A gift card
For sure. Okay, I've got a few more. Targets, always easy. I like the.
You're gonna fit a target in a stocking?
I'm doing by price.
Okay, I'll allow it. You could roll it up inside the stocking.
I like the painted ones that change color when you hit them, because my eyes are getting old.
It's easier to see that hole.
Yeah. Also, a T-shirt. There's lots of cool T-shirts out there for gun folks. My son gave me one a couple years ago. It had a bunch of rifles and stuff on it, like in the shape of a flag. And it says, I study trigonometry. See?
Yeah.
So stuff like that. Silicone gun sock.
Oh yeah, I like.
Maybe somebody who's like a collector or just has a lot of guns. That,
it prevents the guns from getting beat up when they're like stuffed in the safe.
Yeah.
When you have too many guns in the safe, and
it also has a layer of corrosion protection.
Yeah, with the
So
silicone.
if you live somewhere humid, those are super nice.
Yeah.
Here it doesn't matter. You could leave it on your porch for a few years and it wouldn't rust.
Okay. So mine, I was going to say, is a bore sighter, like a laser bore sighter.
Okay.
Those are really handy. And if you don't have any kind of a bore sighter, then
I've been thinking I need to get one.
It ends up saving you money in the like
Sure.
over time.
Yeah.
Like, they're really inexpensive, and then you think about how many rounds you save over the years.
Yeah.
Then
they're well worth it.
Easily pays for itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Boy, I'm just
bullet mold.
always bullet molds.
Yeah. With all these new cool designs of the, multi-weight with the nose pour, I think those are just awesome.
We've got quite a bit of inventory out there right now too, so I think we should have something just about for everybody. I hope.
Yeah, and some of the old rifles that, they have like an oversized bore, then
This is the place to go.
this is a place to come because
Yeah.
there are some oversized, it's mostly those military rifles, but
Yeah.
you can get,
Hard to find stuff.
yeah, you can get stuff and it'll make it shoot better.
Nice. Okay. This one's thinking a little out of the box, maybe. This is for somebody that maybe has a lot of guns. A handgun organizer for the gun safe. There's a bunch of different types of things to stack them up, sit them up, hang them on the door, whatever. And somebody that's got guns just kind of laying on top of each other in their gun safe, that's something that they would
That's
appreciate.
a darn good idea.
And then I have one. This kind of crosses over. This is at the higher end of the under $50, and depending on what model you go with, it might go into the under $100 range. I just found these, and they're super cool. It is a wooden 3D puzzle of an AK-47
Oh boy.
that is fully functional rubber band gun.
What?
To the point, the safety works, the selective fire works, it has a burst mode.
Whoa, that's funny.
Wow.
But these things, and they have a whole bunch of they have handguns. They have a Tommy gun that has a drum magazine that you fill with little wood dowels, and as you're firing it, the wood dowels are being ejected and the rubber bands are being
Oh,
fired.
that's crazy.
So these things are super cool. The brand is RORK, RORK, I think. Obviously, they're coming out of China, but so you order it, and it's like an IKEA gun. It's a flat pack gun.
Yeah.
So it comes in this flat box, and you take it out, and it has these little thin sheets of plywood that have all been laser cut, and you pop out the pieces, and you assemble this thing, and it's totally accurate to all the details and everything. It's obviously not as, it's kind of blocky a little bit.
How much do those cost?
So you can get them, like some of the handguns were only like $25 or $30. The AK seems to be the most popular one, and that one was just over $50.
Okay.
Or no, that one was I think under 50. The Thompson I think was the one that was just over 50. But I can't think of a single gun person. Unless they're the type of person that doesn't like to fiddle
Not a
and have to
fiddler.
put
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
together. But speaking for everybody in this room,
Yeah.
snapping something like that together and having this cool rubber band gun when you're done with it. That you
Cool.
can- yeah, and they come with little action figures that are cut out in the wood and then have a base, so you can shoot them and knock them down.
Oh, that's cool.
Comes with its
But
own
anyway,
targets.
I thought that was super cool.
All right.
Those might be coming to the store when I get my store. That's how cool they are.
All right. So I was going to say the 3 P's of reloading: the powder, primers, and projectiles.
Huh?
And then if you have an air gun shooter, you throw in the other P, which is the pellets.
Yeah.
Or slugs.
Yeah, and I always have ammo.
Yeah,
on
ammo
that
is
list.
also.
Ammos.
And
Yep.
even if it's one box of 9mm in the toe of your sock, it's
Yeah.
appreciated.
It seems like ammo is the one gift that is it is always received well for the hard to
Yeah.
shop for
Yeah.
Yeah.
person. It's a go-to idea for my dad. Like,
Yeah.
if I can't think of anything to get my dad, I just make him some ammo.
Yeah.
And
Stock
then
him up.
it's
Yeah.
just, and he uses it, and he's always grateful for it.
Well,
And so it's.
and here's another angle on it. If you have a friend, I can't believe how many people come into my shop and, yeah, I've got my gun. Is it okay if I unload it and clear it? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And it's got round
ball ammo.
And I'm like, why are you carrying ball ammo? Because you want the guy to kill you after you shoot him 6 times, you know?
Yeah.
So if you have somebody like that on your list, buy him a box of nice hollow points and just be like, hey, I noticed the other day that you aren't carrying good defensive ammo. Here you go. It's how much I care about you.
All right. The other one I got is, now we've moved on from the.
We're getting bigger than stocking
This one
stuffers,
is
okay?
not a stocking stuffer. So I would say those Savior double rifle gun cases.
Oh,
And
The soft ones?
yes.
Yeah.
And you can fit more than 2 guns.
Yeah.
Like when I took this last group shooting, I put like 2 rifles, and then they have all these like Velcro pouches and extra
All the
pouches, and I was just
pockets.
shoving handguns in there.
Yep.
Yep.
I think I fit like
You can hardly move the thing once it's
Oh, it was
loaded.
so
Right.
heavy.
Loaded, and it
I
takes
think
a forklift
one of them
to
had
move it.
over 10 guns in it.
Yeah.
Like, with all the
Yeah.
handguns in
I've
there.
done that.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, those are really nice. I like them. The design's good. Some of them come with the backpack straps,
Yep.
so you can, carry it that way when it weighs about,
When it weighs
300 pounds. So, anyways, gun cases.
That was on my list too.
All right. You got something else, Al?
No, you guys are doing pretty good.
Okay, so for my list, we're moving up over $100, between $100 and $200, and I have a knife on there. Obviously, you can add a knife into that lower category, but I'm pushing it a little bit because
Cost or
you need a good quality knife.
There you go.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of decent stuff that Kershaw and Sierra KT and those guys make for a nice little EDC folder that you can get for under $50, but you do get what you pay for. So I like a good quality knife. Another thing, laser trainer. I don't know if you've ever played with laser
I played with
trainers
the one on you have.
at my shop.
Yeah, and
So, and what I have, I've had the laser light one, and I bought that one probably 10 years ago, and it hasn't held up super well. I haven't been overly impressed with it. Last year, I think I bought a Pink Rhino, just a 9mm cartridge, and I love that thing. I mean, I'll go into the shop and take my SIG off, or my P365, set it in the office, and I get my 226 out of the safe and put it in the holster with that laser cartridge in it, and I'll just be working, and then I'll turn around and draw. In my mind, I'm like, hey, this is my target. The O in my Glock sign on the far wall. Turn, draw, put a couple rounds in it. Okay, reholster it, go back to work, and it's the best way to dry fire practice. I didn't use it as much when I was using a striker fire, because you have to rack the slide to reset the trigger every time. And in my mind, especially if you're trying to do faster stuff, it's just kind of training you to do stupid things in a real world scenario.
Yeah.
And so the double action pull on my SIG isn't terrible, and it's just going to make my trigger pull better on a striker fire anyway. So laser trainers, and you can pick those up. I think they're right around that $50 range for just the laser cartridge.
Okay.
And I think they're great.
All right. Next on my list, I'm going to throw in 2 of these. A red dot sight. Red dots have gotten.
Wow, you jumped to the.
No. There are some that are more inexpensive these days.
I agree.
You can find
how inexpensive.
I'm talking about like that Crimson Trace one that it was like
It's functional though.
It's functional.
It is functional.
For it was on sale for like $55.
Yeah.
So
A clearance sale.
Yeah.
So you can say the low end stuff, somewhere, and like the Bushnell TRS 2025.
It's the gift that says, I was thinking about you, but I don't like you that much.
I'm just saying, you could start on the low end about that price, and then it can go on up from
Fair
there.
enough.
But if you have like someone who has a handgun, for example, one of the new PSA daggers, and it's cut for an optic, you can pick up a Hollow Sun if you value that person more than
And that's I had
spent a Hollow Sun is a good.
Hollow Suns are great,
and you can get a ton of Hollow Sun stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
you can get the ones that mount on the handguns, or you can get the rifle ones that are like $100 and just over $100, and those are good.
Yeah.
So,
Hollow Suns come up.
Uh-huh.
Their prices have crept up over the
And then
years.
the other one that is also around that price is the SIG Romeo 5. I feel like that one's a pretty decent value.
Yes, that was on my list for the under 200 because I think I was on Palmetto, and they were like 130 or something like
120.
that. I had one on my daughter's AR, and It didn't get shot a whole lot, but I really liked it. It was a great functioning piece. Had all the features I wanted. Turns itself off when it's not being used and saves the battery, stuff like that.
So the other idea is a random AR-15 part. And so then they have to buy
They have to
all
build
the
an
rest.
AR.
Yes. So if you can
I got
only
you this gas tube.
Yeah, so if you can only afford like a receiver, then you could do that. If you could do like a trigger group, you could do that, or like basically AR-15 parts can be had from the cheap side on up.
Yeah.
If you really are a cheapskate, you could just get like a forward assist assembly for like I don't know. It's like
then they'd have to build one with a forward assist.
Hey. Yeah. I said if you're, being real cheap.
Get them a flash hider.
You could get them a castle nut or a buffer. Yeah. So
in my under $100 range, I have a quality holster or gun belt. Everybody who's a gun person has a friend that thinks the cheap crap they're using is just fine.
Yeah.
Until they've tried
something decent.
good stuff.
Yeah.
And so you could be that person, especially a belt.
Yeah, the belt does.
Even people who have been carrying their whole lives often don't realize how much difference a good belt makes. So
And you make the best belt. I mean, you have access to the best belt. When I graduated to your belt, it made a world of difference.
It does. And looking at stuff online, everything kind of looks the same. Or like my new EDC2 belt, the buckle that I use is you can find a belt on Amazon that has, I don't know, I don't want to say it's exactly the same buckle because I don't know, but it functions the same.
Yeah.
And you can buy a webbing belt on Amazon for $6. It's not the same.
Not the same.
Close.
So, yeah. So anyway, keep that in mind.
Okay, on my list, if somebody's looking into getting into air guns, they're on the cheaper side of things. You have the Air Venturi Avenger. That's still one of my favorite, lower priced ones, and then that new one,
No-Tos.
the No-Tos.
Yeah,
the
I really
Urex
like that No-Tos a lot.
So those are two good options.
The thing I like about the No-Tos, I haven't shot the Avenger, so I can't really say. But one thing I do like about the No-Tos over the Avenger is it's smaller. The whole platform is just a little bit more compact. If you're gonna if it's something that you might want to take in the field to hunt with or whatever, it might be a little easier to tote around.
Are they both PCPs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Avenger has the advantage of more killing power.
Yeah,
So
it has a little more muzzle velocity.
Yes.
So.
Noah's Avenger, if he were to, scrape little slashes or whatever, tick marks for each kill, his stock would be all torn up.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
that's one of the differences. I think with the No-Tos, you got a little bit less velocity. Like 700 ish?
It's between 700 and 800, I think, on the No-Tos. And what is the Avengers probably pushing 1,000.
You can tune it to 1,000, up there.
Yeah, most of them are under 1,000.
I think I have Noah's tuned to 950-ish.
Yeah.
So, somewhere around just above 900. And like I said, it kills stuff dead.
Yeah.
So
nice.
22 caliber?
Yeah, 22 cal. So
what else you got on your list?
that's all that's on my list.
I have a couple of other things. These are for people you really love. Biometric safes. Somebody that just keeps their handgun in the nightstand, maybe get them a biometric safe. And I've seen those for under $200.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those. If you go too cheap, my dad's handgun is still locked in his. The batteries ran out or something, and
that doesn't have a key.
He lost the key.
Oh gosh.
So,
oh boy.
Yeah. So
it's a heartache.
I mean,
Got the use, but
but
it doesn't necessarily even have to be a biometric safe. I mean, the handgun safe that I use, I got at Harbor Freight for $40.
Yeah.
And it's perfect to keep prying eyes away from it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not going to protect it if somebody breaks in when I'm not home.
Yeah. The one I
Gun's
use
not in there then
is,
either.
I don't
Right.
even know if they still make them. And they're definitely not as cheap as when I bought it, but I bought the Fort Knox one with, it's a physical push button.
Yeah.
And so it's not electronic, no batteries.
Yeah.
You just push these physical buttons. And,
Yeah.
And so that one is really nice.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
never runs out of batteries.
Tactical light and optics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Those
optics.
are always good.
Yeah.
I thought of this one because of my landlord. He's got a Glock 22. He doesn't like shooting because it's got too much recoil, according to him. And the ammo, whatever. It's a 40 cal.
Conversion barrel?
Yeah. Or you can get a freaking complete dagger slide for under 200 bucks.
That's what I was going to say.
On their deals.
Yeah.
You know, just take the slide off, put the other one on. You're good to, and swap out the magazine and you're done.
Yeah.
But something like that, an air gun, we talked about that. Anyway, that's about all I had on my list.
Yeah. My voice is starting to get...
Starting to fade.
So I think
Taco has been on his deathbed.
for... yeah.
We had to resuscitate
it was a few
him
weeks
just
I
to
was,
get him here.
Yeah, I think 3 days in a row my voice was completely gone. I couldn't even speak. So anyways, we are out of time. Thanks for listening and subscribing and sharing with your friends.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Have fun.
Take somebody shooting and be nice to people.
And buy a bullet mold.
Buy a bullet mold. You bet.